Lin Jing caught it with one hand, while the other hand was still pinching the third order talisman to guard against a sudden sneak attack from Pill Master Wang. However, upon looking at Pill Master Wang again, Lin Jing subsequently relaxed. At this moment, he was sitting on the ground, slowly regulating his breath, trying to stop his bleeding wounds. At this point, his injuries were severe, and he had no strength left to fight again. Then, Lin Jing opened the storage bag and let his divine sense probe into it. After some searching, Lin Jing finally found the rootstock of the cleansing spirit flower in the storage bag. There were also many other things inside the storage bag, but Lin Jing only glanced over them casually and did not find anything else valuable. However, being able to obtain this rootstock of the cleansing spirit flower, Lin Jing was already very satisfied. After confirming there were no mistakes, Lin Jing put away the storage bag. He then looked towards Pill Master Wang again. Pill Master Wang immediately frowned and then said, "Fellow Taoist, I've already handed over the storage bag to you. Can I leave now?" Lin Jing sized up Pill Master Wang, and aside from the flying sword beside him, Pill Master Wang had nothing else on him. Even the defensive magical artifact that Lin Jing was the only one interested in had shattered under his own attack. It was no longer usable. Forget it, let him go. After all, I still need him to spread the word. After pondering for a moment, Lin Jing decided to let him go. "All right, you can leave." Lin Jing spoke. After Lin Jing finished speaking, Pill Master Wang was briefly stunned. Then he bowed his head, silent, picked up the magic artifact that had fallen to the ground, and turned to leave. He knew that this burly man had let him go was already a blessing. Of course, he would not utter any harsh words like "you just wait" at this time. That would only anger this person further. Having been struck by the giant sword talisman, his injuries were very severe, and he had been struggling to hold on. He had no strength left to fight, and if a real battle ensued, the burly man probably would not need a talisman to kill him. Seeing Pill Master Wang leave, Lin Jing also turned and headed outside. This time the gain was good, and Lin Jing was quite satisfied. Indeed, just like Li Qingqing said, as a cultivator, one indeed has to take some risks. Afterward, Lin Jing moved through the dense forest toward the Feng market, while at the same time gleefully inspecting the contents of the storage bag. But just at that moment, a powerful divine sense swept over. This divine sense exerted a very strong pressure, almost comparable to the pressure of the divine sense that swept over after Elder Yu had gone through his tribulation. Obviously, the owner of this divine sense was also a golden core immortal. In a moment Lin Jing was stunned. A calm voice came from behind. "You took my things and still want to leave?" This voice got closer and clearer. Obviously, the owner of the voice was flying rapidly towards Lin Jing. Lin Jing's face turned instantly pale as his mind raced. Golden core immortal, his stuff. Wu Kai immortal? No, that's not right. It's not Wu Kai immortal. I'm extremely familiar with his voice, and moreover, this voice does not sound old. It's much younger than Wu Kai immortals. Apart from Wu Kai immortal, it must be the second golden core immortal of the Liu clan whom I haven't met yet, who was recently promoted. It is said that he is Liu Yiyuan's father. Lin Jing instantly thought of the situation he had learned about previously. How could he be here? Could it be Wu Kai immortal's arrangement? At that moment, Lin Jing appeared to have thought through a lot, but in reality, everything had happened in an instant. However, now is not the time to ponder these things. The situation was urgent as Liu Yiyuan's father was about to catch up. Lin Jing had to figure out how to escape from his grasp. Otherwise, falling into their hands, Lin Jing would die a terrible death. Following that, Lin Jing immediately took out a teleportation talisman and held it in his hand. At this time, in the distance, a blurry figure could already be seen flying towards him at high speed. Without any hesitation, Lin Jing crushed the teleportation talisman. Teleportation talisman. That voice came through once again. After that, Lin Jing was instantly teleported away by the power of the teleportation talisman. When he reappeared, Lin Jing quickly looked around, and at last he could no longer see that figure. But before Lin Jing could catch his breath, that voice sounded again, getting closer and closer to him. To think of escaping from a golden core immortal with a teleportation talisman, you are far too fanciful. No matter what, you can't escape the range of my divine sense. His tone was filled with disdain. Soon, Lin Jing saw that figure again, flying rapidly towards him, and it was getting closer and closer. Just then, Lin Jing repeated the old trick and crushed another teleportation talisman, while silently chanting in his heart, "Enter the system space." Unrepentant, I, for one, want to see just how many teleportation talismans you have. Immediately after, space rippled, and the teleporting light from the teleportation talisman completely enveloped Lin Jing. In just an instant, the light quickly dissipated. At the same time, Lin Jing's figure vanished from the spot. "You're wasting your effort. You can't esca." Louis Yuan's father's voice abruptly cut off at this point. Then, he frowned. His divine sense surged out, expanding the search area, yet still finding nothing. Impossible. He couldn't have escaped the range of my divine sense. Using a teleportation talisman, it's simply not possible to escape the range of my divine sense. Louis Yuan's father furrowed his brows tightly, muttering to himself. Meanwhile, within the system space, Lin Jing was breathing heavily. That had been too close for comfort. Thank goodness the system space's teleportation could be used under any circumstance. The situation just now had been too pressing. This was a strategy Lin Jing had devised on the fly, using the system space's teleportation mechanism to evade Louis Yuan's father's pursuit. However, since he had been within Louis Yuan's father's divine sense range the entire time, suddenly disappearing without a trace would surely alert him. He might even suspect Lin Jing had some special spatial magical artifact on him. In that case, he might even call for others to surround and capture Lin Jing. If that were to happen, Lin Jing would be done for, because the time Lin Jing could stay in the system space was limited, and once time was up, he would be teleported out. If he were captured when the time came, they would definitely have ways to make him reveal the truth. Once the system space was exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. But with the use of the teleportation talisman, it was different. Having used the teleportation talisman, he would certainly think that Lin Jing had escaped using it, without suspecting anything else. Then, Lin Jing took a brief moment to catch his breath before directly summoning the system. System, enter observation mode. As Lin Jing's words fell, the view before his eyes started to blur and change. When it cleared again, he was looking at a scene within the dense forest outside. Then, Lin Jing elevated his point of view to allow himself to see further and more clearly. When he had risen to a certain height, Lin Jing swept his gaze across the area and spotted Louis Yuan's father. Louis Yuan's father appeared somewhat frail and feeble, as if he could be knocked over by a gentle breeze. Yet the aura he exuded was not to be underestimated. Looking at his face, one could vaguely see a resemblance to Louis Yuan. This further confirmed Lin Jing's speculation. It shouldn't be. How could he just disappear suddenly? At this moment, Louis Yuan's father was searching the area closely with furrowed brows. After a while, Louis Yuan's father suddenly stopped. He thought of a possibility and, frowning, muttered to himself. Could it be that he has a great teleportation charm in his possession? The Great Teleportation Charm, a third-rank talisman. It is an advanced version of the teleportation talisman. A regular teleportation talisman is quite limited in the spiritual power it can hold due to its rank and materials, which means it cannot transport over great distances. But the Great Teleportation Charm is different. The Great Teleportation Charm is a third-rank talisman, far more powerful than the second-rank teleportation talisman. Moreover, the creation of a Great Teleportation Charm requires very high talisman-making skills from the talisman master, making it a rare presence among third-rank talismans. Therefore, the Great Teleportation Charm is incredibly precious. A usual teleportation talisman can only transport a few hundred meters or maybe a kilometer. But the travel distance of a great teleportation charm is several hundred or even 1,000 times greater than that of its smaller counterpart. Once the great teleportation charm has been used, even a golden core cultivator could do nothing about it. Just like the current situation, Louis Yuan's father, like a headless fly, had searched all the nearby areas but still had not detected Lin Jing's presence. Then, after searching for some time and still unable to track the other's whereabouts, Louis Yuan's father finally gave up his search. At this point, he was absolutely certain that the other party must have used a great teleportation charm to escape. Otherwise, there was no way they could have gotten out of his divine sense range. Afterward, he stood on a high rock, silently gazing into the distance. Not long after, two more people flew over. These two people were none other than Liu Yuan and that surnamed Wang, the pill master. Upon seeing Liu Yuan's father, the two flew directly to his side. Then, the two descended from the sky. Wang, the pill master, could hardly hide his excitement as he bowed to Liu Yuan's father and said, "Golden core, immortal Liu." However, Louis Yuan's father was still looking into the distance and did not acknowledge him. Wang, the pill master, didn't mind. After all, that was a golden core immortal, and he obediently stood aside. At this time, Louis Yuan stepped forward and said, "Father, that bandit cultivator, could it be you've already reduced him to ash?" In Louis Yuan's mind, a mere bandit cultivator at the Foundation establishment level certainly couldn't escape his father's pursuit. Louis Yuan's father shook his head and then spoke. "I'll let him get away." His words left both Wang, the pill master, and Louis Yuan stunned. Especially Louis Yuan, whose eyes widened in disbelief as he looked at his father. After all, his father was a golden core cultivator. How could he fail to catch a bandit cultivator at the Foundation establishment level? Louis Yuan couldn't believe it and quickly asked, "Father, how is this possible?" He used a teleportation talisman to escape. Louis Yuan's father spoke up, once again confirming the matter. After he finished, he withdrew his gaze toward the distance and then looked at the surnamed Wang pill master, saying, "Tell us, how were you robbed?" Once Louis Yuan's father opened his mouth, the surnamed Wang pill master naturally did not dare to delay. So, he recounted the whole experience of being robbed. As soon as the surnamed Wang pill master finished speaking, Louis Yuan's father immediately grasped the crux of the matter. "You mean he robbed you using only talismans, and in the end, he even brought out a third-rank talisman? Are you certain?" Louis Yuan's father stared intently at the surnamed Wang pill master as he asked. The surnamed Wang pill master promptly bowed with clasped hands, saying, replying to Golden Core, immortal Liu, "I'm absolutely sure. I have seen it before at Ubela. It was indeed a third-rank talisman." After listening, Louis Yuan's father nodded and did not say anything further. At this moment, Louis Yuan spoke up again. "Father, is there anything amiss?" "Nothing," Louis Yuan's father replied. Seeing that Louis Yuan still looked puzzled, his father spoke again to explain. "When the bandit cultivator escaped, he used a great teleportation charm, and I wasn't able to catch up." "Ah, a great teleportation charm." Louis Yuan and the surnamed Wang pill master both exclaimed in shock simultaneously. They had not expected that the bandit cultivator would escape using a great teleportation charm. They couldn't fathom who it was that acted so unorthodoxly to actually rob using talismans, and moreover, to carry several third-rank talismans. This was simply outrageous extravagance. You must understand that a great teleportation charm was more precious than all the items in the surnamed Wang pill master storage bag combined. Even the cleansing spirit flower's rhizome could not compare to the value of a great teleportation charm. Of course, if it were a complete cleansing spirit flower, that would be about the same. After recovering from the shock of the event, Louis Yuan recalled what the surnamed Wang pill master had said earlier, and then looked at him, asking, "You said earlier that Lin Jing couldn't make it. What happened? It was a bit rushed before, and I hadn't had the chance to ask you." Louis Yuan and his father had waited for a long time at the ambush site, and just when he was growing impatient and thinking of leaving, Louis Yuan's father sensed the spiritual power fluctuations of a battle. So, the two headed toward the site of the battle. In fact, those battle fluctuations were the result of Lin Jing's last use of the giant sword talisman to attack the protective shield of the surnamed Wang Pill Master. Originally, Lin Jing had calculated that at such a great distance from the ambush site, there was no way the other party would detect it. But what Lin Jing never expected was that the Wukai immortal would actually have a golden core immortal, Lu Yiyuan's father, come here to lay an ambush for him. Thus, Lin Jing had miscalculated. It was these battle fluctuations that alerted Lu Yiyuan's father, attracting the two of them to come over and investigate, and they encountered the surnamed Wang Pill Master on the way. When the surnamed Wang Pill Master first saw the two of them, he was extremely excited and promptly told them that the cleansing spirit flower's rhizome had been stolen. Concerning the matter of the cleansing spirit flower's rhizome, the two of them did not have the time to ask for more details. After Lu Yiyuan's father confirmed the direction, he flew straight here. Then there was the pursuit of Lin Jing that followed. It was on the way here that Lu Yiyuan had asked for Lin Jing's whereabouts, and the surnamed Wang Pill Master had only replied that Lin Jing hadn't come. There hadn't been time to explain more as they proceeded in chase. It was not until now, when everything had settled, that Lu Yiyuan brought it up again. The surnamed Wang Pill Master bowed to the two of them and then answered, "Golden Core Immortal Lu, young Master Lu, this is what happened. This morning, I went looking for Lin Jing. We had already agreed to come over together, but just as we were about to leave, Steward Chung from Yubela came." Steward Chung. Lu Yiyuan frowned as he spoke. "Yes, Steward Chung," the Pill Master surnamed Wang said. Steward Chung found Lin Jing. It seemed like Steward Chung, for some unknown reason, wanted to arrange for Lin Jing to do something. With Steward Chung present, I didn't dare to say much at the time. At this moment, Lu Yiyuan's father suddenly spoke up. "That's not right. Steward Chung should be exploring the demon race secret realm with the other real ones at this time. How could he arrange tasks for him? Could it be that Steward Chung has discovered our plan? Or was there some other reason? Father, could it be that Steward Chung had arranged it beforehand?" Lu Yiyuan spoke up. "That's unlikely," Lu Yiyuan's father said, then continued to sink into contemplation. At that moment, the Pill Master, surnamed Wang, interrupted. "Real one Lu, young Master Lu, Steward Chung came and found trouble with Lin Jing as soon as he arrived. This time, could it be the same?" Having said that, the Pill Master, surnamed Wang, looked at both of them. "That matter should have already ended. It shouldn't be like this," Lu Yiyuan said, frowning. "Did you not ask Steward Chung what he wanted with Lin Jing?" asked Lu Yiyuan, continuing to press the Pill Master, surnamed Wang. The Pill Master, surnamed Wang, replied, "I'm just a minor figure, not bold enough to inquire further. However, after they left, I stayed waiting at the entrance of Yuba. But even after a long while, Lin Jing still did not come out. Worried you both might become anxious, I thought I'd come and inform Real One Lu and Young Master Lu first, to see what we should do next. Thus, I came over, but on the way here I ran into that bandit cultivator by bad luck. Fortunately, he was only robbing and did not harbor any intention to kill me." After listening to the Pill Master, surnamed Wang's words, Lu Yiyuan bowed his head in thought. After a long while, still without any clue, Lu Yiyuan then asked his father, "Father, what should we do next?" After thinking for a moment, Lu Yiyuan's father spoke up. "It seems our plan this time has failed. Never mind. Let's forget about it for now. Let's go back, and we'll find another opportunity in the future." All right. Although feeling unwilling, Lu Yiyuan couldn't do much when faced with such an unexpected turn of events, especially since the cleansing spirit flower rootstock, which was meant to lure Lin Jing, had been snatched away as well. This made Lu Yiyuan even more frustrated, but with his father present, and considering that the bandit cultivator had escaped from his own hands, Lu Yiyuan was in no position to lash out and instead had to first contain his emotions. "Let's go." Having said that, Lu Yiyuan's father rose on his flying sword. Lu Yiyuan and the Pill Master, surnamed Wang, did likewise. Although the Pill Master, surnamed Wang, had sustained severe injuries just before, During this time, he had taken a wound-healing elixir and had been quietly regulating his breath. He had regained some strength from his injuries by now and was able to fly on his sword, although perhaps a bit more slowly than usual. Just as the three were preparing to leave, boom! Suddenly a loud rumble came, followed by shaking of the ground. Then the three simultaneously felt a powerful aura emanating from the depths of the mountain range. What has happened? Louis Yuan quickly looked towards the direction from which the voice came. Louis Yuan's father and the surnamed Wang Pill Master also turned their heads simultaneously to look in the direction of the voice. Even Lin Jing in the system space felt it through observation mode, and then he quickly controlled the observation perspective to ascend, looking towards the direction from which the voice originated. However, even when he raised the observation perspective to the highest, Lin Jing still could see nothing. "You two go back first. I'll go over there to see what happened," Lu Yuan's father said at this moment, speaking to the two. "Father, be careful," Lu Yuan spoke at this time. Lu Yuan's father nodded in response. Then, with a wave of his hand, a giant palm imprint formed from spiritual power swept out, flying toward the surnamed Wang Pill Master. The surnamed Wang Pill Master's eyes widened in horror as he looked at Lu Yuan's father. "Master Lu, why?" However, before he could finish his sentence, the giant palm imprint had already struck him. Poor Pill Master Wang didn't even have time to react before he was turned into a mist of blood by that massive palm strike. "Father." Upon witnessing this scene, Louis Yuan turned to look at his father, his eyes filled with incomprehension. "Father, he's yet to lure Lin Jing here. Why kill him now?" Louis Yuan's father's expression was now stern, a stark contrast to moments before. When the old ancestor first informed me of this matter, he had already said, "Regardless of whether this task is completed or not, this man must not be spared. He knows too much by now, which is detrimental to us." Have you forgotten what the old ancestor told you? After hearing this, Lu Yuan fell silent for a while, then nodded. "Understand, father." Hearing him say this, Lu Yuan's father's countenance softened a lot, and he then spoke earnestly to Lu Yuan. "Yuan, remember, be gracious when it's time to show grace, and punishing when it's time to punish. But if his existence could pose a threat to us, then you must not be lenient. Do you understand?" Louis Yuan first turned his head, looking at the patch of blood mist on the ground, then turned back to his father and gave a formal bow. "Understand, father." Louis Yuan's father nodded after listening, then smiled gently at Louis Yuan. "All right, you go back. I'll go over there to see what's happening. As for Lin Jing, there will be other opportunities to deal with him in the future." Louis Yuan looked at his father, deeply moved. He knew that his father was still on his side. After that, Louis Yuan said, "Father, be careful." Louis Yuan's father nodded, then flew towards the direction of the sound on his sword. And Louis Yuan, after his father had left, also departed from the area. In that place, only a pool of blood mist remained, testament to someone's prior existence. Lin Jing, however, continued to stay in the system space, silently watching all this unfold. He felt no sympathy or mercy for the fate of the surnamed Wang Pill Master. Anyone who plots against the tiger must be prepared to suffer the tiger's wrath. Then, Lin Jing did not leave the system space, but continued to look into the distance through observation mode, towards the direction from which the loud noise had come, because he wasn't sure if Lu Yuan's father would be lying in wait there. In any case, it's always good to be cautious. Not long after, a violent aura arrived. This aura was somewhat special. It was similar to the aura normally found on cultivators, yet there were some differences. Lin Jing observed through observation mode. In the distance at the edge of the sky, several blurry dots appeared, along with various spells and the flashes of magical treasures. It seemed that a group of cultivators was engaging in battle, and that violent aura was originating from amongst them. Although Lin Jing was within the system space, he could still clearly sense this violent aura through observation mode. As the group of cultivators fighting in the distance moved closer and closer, Lin Jing finally saw clearly that these combatants were actually a group of golden core cultivators. Moreover, Amongst them were several individuals Lin Jing was very familiar with. Zhang family patriarch, elder of the Li family, the golden core immortal from the Fang market, and Steward Zheng were all there. And not just them. Even Liu Yiyuan's father, who had just left, was among them. Of course, aside from them, there were several other golden cores Lin Jing did not recognize. These top powerhouses of Fang market were currently surrounding a person and attacking continuously. To call them a person, however, was not entirely accurate. The individual was huge, standing several meters tall, with the appearance of a wolf's head, yet their body was similar to that of a human. If Lin Jing's guess was right, this wolf-headed figure was likely a demon cultivator. This demon cultivator was extremely fierce. Despite being attacked by several golden core cultivators, he did not fall behind in the least. That violent aura from before was identical to the aura exuded by this demon cultivator. This demon cultivator is so strong, facing so many golden core cultivators without falling behind. Could he be at the golden core late stage? Or perhaps at the golden core peak? Lin Jing watched the scene, inwardly contemplating. At that moment, the golden core masters within Fang market used all their might, casting various powerful spells as if they cost nothing, all aiming at the demon cultivator. In the sky, various flying swords and magical treasures flashed with dazzling light as they slashed towards the demon cultivator. However, the demon cultivator just let out a loud roar, and then with a sweep of the large saber in his hands, a blood-red saber light directly swept out from the blade. The flying swords and magical treasures that had just been pushed forward were all swept away by this saber light. This demon cultivator was indeed so fierce. Several of these golden core cultivators from the entire Fang market were at the mid-stage of golden core. If this demon cultivator was merely at the golden core late stage, he obviously could not have achieved this feat. It's very likely that he was at the golden core peak, or even on the verge of reaching the nascent soul stage. As the battlefield moved, they gradually approached Lin Jing's location. "You all will not get my nirvana flower." With a roar from the demon cultivator, Lin Jing finally saw clearly that in one of his hands, he was actually holding a spirit plant. This spirit plant was dark green all over, with a vivid red fruit resembling blood at the tip, and even the roots of the plant were covered in some blackish red soil. It appeared that it hadn't been long since it was plucked. However, the spirit plant in his hand was not the nirvana flower, but rather the blood-red vermilion fruit. "You won't get my life-reversing fruit. You won't." The demon cultivator shouted another nonsensical sentence, leaving Lin Jing thoroughly confused. Clearly, there was only one blood-red vermilion fruit in his hand and nothing else. "I'm the true king of the wolf tribe. All you whelps deserve to die. Kill! Kill! Kill!" The demon cultivator's eyes were bloodshot as he brandished his broadsword, charging at the golden core experts besieging him. Just as Lin Jing was wondering what was happening, Wu Tsai Immortal spoke. "Fellow Taoists, this demon cultivator is clearly tainted by an evil entity and has lost his senses. He's gone mad. Everyone, there's no need for further concern. Use all your might. Do not hold back and kill him right here. The nirvana flower is on his person. Once we refine the nirvana elixir, advancing to the nascent soul stage will be within our reach." Lin Jing instantly understood that the demon cultivator had, for some unknown reason, gone mad. And indeed, he had the nirvana flower on him. The nirvana flower, an essential main ingredient for refining the nirvana elixir. The nirvana elixir could increase the chances of a golden core cultivator advancing to the nascent soul stage, which explained the madness of the golden core cultivators in the Fang market. At this time, the crowd besieging the demon cultivator, having heard Wu Tsai Immortal's words, attacked the demon cultivator even more frantically. It was then the Zhang family patriarch spoke. "Fellow Taoists, hold him off for a moment. Wait for me to gather my killing move." As soon as he finished speaking, the Zhang family patriarch withdrew from the fray. Then, he brought out a small emerald green sword, less than an inch long. Immediately after, he recited an incantation and formed hand seals with his fingers. Subsequently, the little sword-shaped magical treasure grew in the wind until it was over 5 feet long. By that time, the Zhang family patriarch had also completed his incantation. He pointed at the demon cultivator. Go! The small sword-shaped magical treasure charged straight at the demon cultivator. Despite his madness, the demon cultivator seemed to sense the danger and fought more desperately, trying to escape the battle. Seeing this, the others also exerted their full strength at that moment, launching their attacks at the demon cultivator. Then they saw the emerald green little sword charge directly in front of the demonic beast. Sensing the danger, the beast attempted to dodge, but it was too late. The emerald green little sword actually severed the arm holding the blood-red vermilion fruit from the demon cultivator. The severed arm was enormous, 2 to 3 meters long, and it fell in front of Lu Yiyuan's father, who hurriedly caught it. Upon feeling the pain, the demon cultivator looked down at his arm and saw it had been chopped off. He then roared as if he were crazed. Roar! At this moment, the wolf-headed demon cultivator's eyes were bloodshot, and with his mouth agape, showing his teeth, he glared at the Zhang family patriarch who had cut off his arm. You all deserve to die. With that, he swept his broadsword. The others wanted to defend themselves, but were forced back by the strike. His eyes still bloodshot, he exuded an exceptionally violent aura. Then, in a single step, he charged up to the Zhang family patriarch, brandishing his broadsword, and struck a radiant slash at the patriarch. The slash was incredibly fast. The Zhang family patriarch, realizing he couldn't dodge, quickly brought out a shield-shaped magical treasure to defend, while also gathering spiritual power to instantly create dozens of protective shields in front of him. However, the demon cultivator was ferocious. The dozens of protective shields conjured by the Zhang family patriarch shattered like paper upon contact with the blade's light. After the spiritual shield was shattered, the blood-red blade light continued unabated and cleaved directly downward. It struck the shield-shaped magical treasure. A crack was heard. The shield-shaped magical treasure split apart instantly, but luckily, it stopped the blade light. The Zhang family patriarch then spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying by that cut. Patriarch! At that moment, another slightly younger golden core cultivator saw the Zhang family patriarch injured, called out, and quickly rushed over. This man was undoubtedly the same newly advanced golden core member of the Zhang family, also one of Zhang Yuan's uncles. However, before he could get there, another slash came at him. This time, the momentum of the sword seemed significantly weaker than the one that had been aimed at the Zhang family patriarch. As the sword light fell, the somewhat younger golden core cultivator hurriedly placed his magical treasure in front of him and also crushed a talisman, bringing up a pale cyan protective shield in front of him. Even so, he was still sent flying by the slash of sword light. After sending the young golden core cultivator from the Zhang family flying, the sword light fell and carved a trench several dozen meters long in the ground. With 2 successive slashes unleashed, the terror of this demon cultivator cast a shadow over everyone's hearts. Who would have thought that after going mad, this demon cultivator would become even more relentless, complicating things for everyone? Next, the demon cultivator turned his head, rage surging, looked toward the crowd, and spotted Lu Yiyuan's father holding his severed arm, his eyes bloodshot. Roar! Obstruct my rise to be the Wolf King. Steal my nirvana flower, you all must die. Seeing himself targeted, Lu Yiyuan's father felt a chill in his heart, turned around with the demon cultivator's arm, and fled while trying to extract the blood-red vermilion fruit from the tightly clutched hand. But to no avail, before the arm was severed, the blood-red vermilion fruit had been tightly grasped in the hand, with only half of the stem sticking out. Because the grip of the demonic beast's hand was so tight, Lu Yiyuan's father couldn't pry the fingers open at the moment. Yet, he didn't dare use his flying sword to cut open the palm of the demonic beast, fearing a careless move might damage the blood-red vermilion fruit inside, as any cut would greatly reduce its efficacy. making his efforts not worth the loss. And so, the stalemate continued. Seeing Lu Yiyuan's father escaping, the demon cultivator, heedless of everything, charged straight at him. At this moment, the other golden core cultivators, seeing this, all stepped forward to stop him. Yet faced with these cultivators, the demon cultivator was for the moment halted. Fuming.com. As he saw his arm getting further away, the demon cultivator grew increasingly frantic. Soon after, with a roar, the demon cultivator let out an angry roar. Then his body suddenly swelled in size, lifted his large sword, and swung it horizontally. The blood-red sword light spread along the edge of the sword, striking towards the golden core cultivators who were attacking him. The sword light swept across, instantly turning boulders and trees to dust, and continued to expand outward. Witnessing this, the golden core cultivators did not take it lightly, and each used their life-saving methods to protect themselves. However, after the expansion, the demon cultivator was even more ferocious than before. As the sword light swept through, all these golden core experts were sent flying. At the same time, several of them spewed fresh blood from their mouths, obviously suffering serious injuries. Even those who did not spew blood had blood traces at the corners of their mouths, without exception. In front of the demon cultivator, a few hundred meters around the ground had turned completely bare, starkly different from the surrounding area. Such was the terror of this slash from the demon cultivator. With just one slash, he injured all the golden core cultivators attacking him with such power. However, after releasing this slash, the demon cultivator's body size promptly returned to normal. He stood there gasping for breath, obviously having paid a significant price. Moreover, his aura seemed much weaker than before. After resting in place for a moment, the demon cultivator looked towards Lu Yiyuan's father, who was escaping, gathered his strength, and with one step, chased after him. At this time, Lu Yiyuan's father was prying the fingers of the demon cultivator's arm, trying to extract the blood-red vermilion fruit. Now, he had already pried one finger open, and through the gap between the fingers, he could see a hint of red. As long as one more finger was pried, he would be able to extract the blood-red vermilion fruit completely. However, the aggressiveness with which that demon cultivator swept his blade across all the golden cores had scared him. He hastily maneuvered his flying sword with all his might, attempting to distance himself from the demon cultivator and trying to extract the blood-red vermilion fruit. Unwittingly, in the process, he found himself flying towards Lin Jing's direction. Lin Jing also noticed that Lu Yiyuan's father was getting closer and closer to this location. Before long, he came within Lin Jing's observation range. It was then that Lin Jing realized that, although Lu Yiyuan's father appeared frantic, he already had a teleportation talisman pinched in his hand. Upon reaching this point, Lu Yiyuan's father actually slowed down his flight speed, concentrating on prying open the finger that was tightly clutching the blood-red vermilion fruit. Slowly, he managed to bend the finger, revealing a small gap. At this moment, the demon cultivator was almost within Lin Jing's observation range, about to charge over. Just then, as the gap where the finger had been pried open increased, it became large enough to extract the blood-red vermilion fruit. After that, Lu Yiyuan's father hurriedly reached out, took the deep red blood-red vermilion fruit, and stowed it away. Lu Yiyuan's father saw that the demon cultivator was charging towards him, and a large blade in his hand was already raised. At this critical moment, desperate for a solution, Lu Yiyuan's father threw the arm holding the fruit away. At the same time, the teleportation talisman in his other hand was already crushed. Before the blade could fall, Lu Yiyuan's father disappeared within a flash of white light. Roar! The demon cultivator let out an angry roar, seeing that his strike had failed to kill Lu Yiyuan's father. Afterward, he flew towards his severed arm. Lu Yiyuan's father's maneuver was indeed ingenious, not only securing the blood-red vermilion fruit, but also using his arm to divert the demon cultivator's attention, buying himself a temporary reprieve. After teleporting, Lu Yiyuan's father looked around, discerned his bearings, and quickly headed towards the Fang Market's golden core cultivators. He was well aware that with his own strength alone, it would be difficult to escape the demon cultivator's pursuit. Only by rallying everyone's collective strength could they hope to defeat the demon cultivator. And that severed arm, by sheer coincidence, had landed not far from where Lin Jing entered the system space. The demon cultivator flew over, picked up his arm, and then noticed that the blood-red vermilion fruit he was holding was gone. Roar! You dare steal my life-defying fruit. You deserve death. Kill. I will slaughter you all. The demon cultivator had mistaken the blood-red vermilion fruit for a life-defying fruit. It seemed he had truly gone mad. The demon cultivator first let out an infuriated roar and then picked up his severed arm. He grabbed what remained of the branch and leaves, along with the roots, then tossed them to the ground. Afterward, without a second glance, he stored his arm and chased after Lu Yiyuan's father. The speed of the demon cultivator was incredibly fast. In no time, the distance between them had significantly closed. Lu Yiyuan's father turned pale upon seeing the demon cultivator catching up to him and then slammed his chest, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He had resorted to using the blood escape technique. With the activation of the blood escape technique, Lu Yiyuan's father's speed surged several-fold as he flew towards the golden core cultivators within the Fang Market, hoping to withstand the demon cultivator with the strength of the crowd. At this moment, Lin Jing had long since stopped paying attention to them. Ever since the demon cultivator threw down the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit, Lin Jing's heart had been pounding forcefully, his eyes fixed on it. This was the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit, the main ingredient for refining the cultivation true elixir. If planted in the system space, wouldn't he have an endless supply of blood-red vermilion fruits? Wouldn't refining the cultivation true elixir be within reach then? This rootstock, although perhaps not so valuable in the eyes of others, was much more precious than the blood-red vermilion fruit itself, in Lin Jing's view. However, with so many golden core cultivators around at the moment, he simply couldn't risk leaving the system space. Though Lin Jing yearned to possess the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit right away, he had not lost his mind. All the golden core cultivators were currently entangled with the demon cultivator, too preoccupied to spare any attention elsewhere. And the demon cultivator showed no regard for the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit. That was a chance. What he needed to do now was wait for a moment when those people weren't paying attention, so he could emerge from the system space and take away the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit. At this moment, after using the blood escape technique, Lu Yiyuan's father had managed to gain some distance, but the technique was not long-lasting. Before long, his speed had slowed down. Fortunately for him, he was now not far from several golden core cultivators. Seeing the demon cultivator getting closer, Lu Yiyuan's father shouted out, "Patriarch, I have the blood-red vermilion fruit in my hand. Save me." Wu Kai, immortal, quickly rushed forward while calling out to the others, "Fellow seniors, won't you lend a hand?" The other golden core cultivators, upon hearing this, also hurriedly moved towards Lu Yiyuan's father, trying to intercept the demon cultivator. However, the demon cultivator was incredibly fierce, and, confronted by the golden core cultivators trying to stop him, he didn't hesitate and swung his blade straight down. The light from the blade instantly split the crowd, and the demon cultivator passed through it, continuing the chase after Lu Yiyuan's father. In a dire situation, Lu Yiyuan's father took out a teleportation talisman and crushed it. This time his teleportation landed him not far from Wu Kai Immortal, which could be considered extremely lucky. After all, although the teleportation talisman could transport a person away, the destination was random. Just like when Lin Jing used a teleportation talisman before. He ended up right under the feet of the flame-poisoned centipede, getting stepped on dozens of times. That was some kind of bad luck. Your cultivation is too low. Quick, hand over the blood-red vermilion fruit to me, and I'll lead him away, Wu Kai Immortal urged. Lu Yiyuan's father didn't dare to delay, and quickly took out the blood-red vermilion fruit, handing it over to Wu Kai Immortal. The demon cultivator naturally witnessed this scene. Roar. With reddened eyes, he let out a furious roar. Steal my life-defying fruit, I will kill you. Kill. However, just as he was about to charge over, he was intercepted by others. Worthless ants, out of my way. Following that, he swung his blade in a sweeping arc, aiming at everyone around. People quickly retreated to evade the sharp edge. With that delay, the Wukai immortal had already flown far away with the blood-red vermilion fruit, and the demon cultivator hastily chased after him. Seeing the demon cultivator following the Wukai immortal, the remaining few also hurriedly followed suit. After that, they got farther and farther away, leaving the area. And Lin Jing just watched them leave until they vanished from sight. At that moment, Lin Jing's mind stirred, and he directly called out to the system. System, exit system space. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Jing appeared directly in the dense forest. Lin Jing hurried forward, passing through the shrubbery, to a patch of weeds ahead. Lin Jing took 2 steps forward, brushed aside the weeds, and there lay the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit, bereft of fruit, quietly nestled behind the weeds. Lin Jing had been watching this rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit for quite a while. Its location where it had fallen was crystal clear to him. Then, Lin Jing reached out, picked up the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit. Seeing some black dirt still clinging onto the rootstock, Lin Jing shook it off, removing all the black dirt, and then he stored it away. Having put it aside, Lin Jing noted that those golden core cultivators had gone after the demon cultivator, and he guessed they would not be back anytime soon. Seizing this opportunity, Lin Jing took out the flawless sword and directly took off, flying on the sword. This place was simply too dangerous. If they returned and saw him, Lin Jing might really not be able to escape. Subsequently, he no longer cared about the demonic beasts in the forest and took flight on the sword, then extended his divine sense, constantly vigilant of everything around him, and flew in the direction of Fong Market. Perhaps the commotion from the recent battle had scared off most of the demonic beasts. Lin Jing found his journey quite smooth, without running into any mishaps. And just like that, he safely returned to Fong Market. Back at his small courtyard, Lin Jing couldn't wait to enter the system space first thing. Then, he took out the cleansing spirit flower and the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit from his storage bag. This trip had garnered Lin Jing 2 spirit plants suitable for concocting the cultivation true elixir, and he had fortuitously managed to get his hands on the blood-red vermilion fruit, the hardest to acquire among them. It had to be said, his luck on this venture was quite good. Good thing I came out this time, otherwise I would have missed this rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit, and it would have been even harder to obtain, said Lin Jing, talking to himself while looking at the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit in his hand. However, what puzzled Lin Jing was why the golden core immortals from Fong Market had ended up fighting with the demon cultivator. Weren't they supposed to be exploring the demon race secret realm? This left Lin Jing befuddled. Could it be that the demon cultivator is a native living within the secret realm? Lin Jing couldn't help but wonder. If the demon cultivator really was a native of the secret realm, such a powerful native wouldn't be the only one. If so, the expedition into the secret realm was likely to fail. Even more, if they could come and go as they pleased, they might even bring disaster to Fong Market. Just considering it, only one native appeared from the demon race secret realm, and it took a collective effort of the golden core immortals from the market to stand against him. Moreover, this native demon cultivator was a mad cultivator with deranged nerves. If another demon cultivator of such caliber were to emerge from the secret realm, the golden core immortals in the market would likely flee in disarray. Nonetheless, from what Lin Jing had observed, despite seeming invincible, the demon cultivator would ultimately be killed by the group of golden core immortals from Fong Market. Because he had already gone mad, Lin Jing could tell that the golden core immortals from the market were constantly depleting his spiritual power, intending to grind him down to death. Otherwise, they would have definitely been able to cripple the demon cultivator with their full strength. In fact, seeing how the Zhang family patriarch had chopped off the arm of the demon cultivator made it quite clear. These old fellows, having lived for several hundred years each, must surely all have similar trump cards. Perhaps they were cautious about harming the nirvana flower on the demon cultivator, or maybe due to other considerations. They simply chose not to use them. At this thought, Lin Jing couldn't help but sigh. Forget it, this isn't something I can get involved in. If there really are other demon cultivators native to that secret realm, I guess I'd have to rely on the Qingyuan sword sect to clean up the mess when the time comes. Afterwards, Lin Jing, carrying the spirit plant, walked towards the spirit field, no longer thinking about those messy matters. Next, the most important thing was to plant these 2 spirit plants as soon as possible. Upon arriving at spirit field number 1, Lin Jing first took out the cleansing spirit flower and planted it. As soon as he planted it, a system notification sound rang out. System notification. Congratulations to the host for planting a high-grade spirit plant. This spirit plant is in a damaged state and currently cannot grow. Repair is possible. Repairing will consume 20 harvest points. Would the host like to repair this spirit plant? Repair, Lin Jing said without hesitation. As his voice faded, a ray of light swept over the cleansing spirit flower. Then, the system's notification sounded again. System notification. Spirit plant repair successful. 20 harvest points deducted. Current harvest points remaining, 1530. Seeing the repair was complete, Lin Jing promptly spoke again. System, show the current status of the cleansing spirit flower. Then, a panel appeared above the just planted cleansing spirit flower. Spirit plant, cleansing spirit flower. Current environment, uninhabited mountains. Current environment matches, rapid growth and progress. Time until maturity, 10 years. The cleansing spirit flower had been planted. All that was left to do now was to wait for it to mature. Regrettably, a wait of 10 years was a bit too long. Next, Lin Jing took out the blood-red vermilion fruit. This blood-red vermilion fruit, unlike the cleansing spirit flower, was comparatively intact. Aside from its missing fruits, the rest of it, like the roots, stems, and leaves, were all present. Presumably, it should be able to be planted directly without needing any repairs. Afterward, Lin Jing dug open the spirit field and buried the roots of the blood-red vermilion fruit into the soil. After the blood-red vermilion fruit was planted, system notifications came once more. System notification. Congratulations to the host for planting a high-grade spirit plant. After this notification, there were no more, clearly indicating that the blood-red vermilion fruit was indeed intact and did not require repairs. Lin Jing spoke up again. System, show the current status of the blood-red vermilion fruit. Then, a panel appeared above the recently planted blood-red vermilion fruit. Lin Jing looked at the panel, and the information displayed made him furrow his brows. Spirit plant, blood-red vermilion fruit. Current environment, uninhabited mountains. The current environment is highly incompatible. The spirit plant cannot grow normally, entering dormancy. Note, this spirit plant originates from a special secret realm. The system is currently unable to simulate the environment of the secret realm. Please obtain a soil sample from the secret realm and plant it together with this spirit plant in order to simulate the growth environment for the spirit plant. This series of notifications. It seemed that the blood-red vermilion fruit truly did come from the demon race secret realm. Now, in order for this blood-red vermilion fruit to mature, a soil sample from the demon race secret realm was actually needed. This momentarily stumped Lin Jing. At this time, the situation inside the demon race secret realm was unclear, potentially extremely dangerous. To enter and collect a soil sample. At this thought, Lin Jing shook his head. Forget it. Let's not think about it for now. Given the current unclear situation inside the demon race secret realm, let those golden core immortals go in to explore first. Once the situation is clear and it's safe to enter, then we'll talk about it. Alas, having obtained a blood-red vermilion fruit, and now being unable to grow it left Lin Jing feeling quite helpless. Sigh. Lin Jing sighed in frustration. Just then, he suddenly thought of something and blurted out. No, I had a soil sample. Damn it, I scattered it. Lin Jing remembered when he first obtained the rootstock of the blood-red vermilion fruit. There was some black soil clinging to this rootstock. That must have been the demon race secret realm soil sample he needed. He had been annoyed by the dirt on it, and had even cleaned it off on purpose. Now that he thought about it, Lin Jing regretted it so much that his guts turned green. At this moment, even if he wanted to find that soil, it would probably be hard to locate. The exact location of that place was already a bit hazy in Lin Jing's memory. Moreover, he had just returned, and he estimated that the battle over there was still going on, immensely dangerous. Even if Lin Jing knew the location, he couldn't go there now. Afterward, Lin Jing pondered for a moment and then made a decision. He still planned to go and look for that soil. But not right now. At the very least, he had to wait until the battle there was over and it was no longer dangerous before he went to look. Next, Lin Jing stayed in the system space, didn't leave, and started his alchemy, preparing to refine a few batches of elixir medicine first. It wasn't until the next day that Lin Jing went out, intending to visit Ubala to see if he could hear any news about what happened yesterday. Ubala, being so large, had people coming and going every day. Generally, any news would quickly spread there. However, before he reached Ubala, while walking on the street, Lin Jing heard some people quietly discussing the incident that happened yesterday ahead of him. Lin Jing hurriedly quickened his pace, came a bit closer to the two people, and perked up his ears to listen intently. "Brother Zhang, have you heard? Yesterday, several golden core immortals from the Fang market fought a big battle with some outsiders. It said that the opponent was a golden core peak cultivator, quite formidable, and the golden core immortals from the market sustained serious injuries." The man referred to as Brother Zhang responded, "I've heard about it too, but the version I heard is different from yours." "Oh, what version did you hear, Brother Zhang? Feel free to share." After speaking, this person leaned in closer, cupping his ear. "I heard that the one who fought with the golden core immortals from the Fang market wasn't a human cultivator, but a demon cultivator." "This? A demon cultivator?" The other man gasped in shock. "When did such a powerful demon cultivator appear in the night mist mountain range?" The cultivator, surnamed Zhang, shook his head and said, "It said that demon cultivator didn't come out of the night mist mountain range, but from the secret realm that caused the beast tide." The other man asked doubtfully, "Isn't it said that the secret realm was sealed? Wasn't it the Qingyuan sword sect that sent people to seal it? How come there's a demon cultivator coming out of it now?" The Zhang surnamed cultivator spread his hands and said, "I'm not sure about that." Then, the man spoke again to the cultivator surnamed Zhang. "Brother Zhang, why don't we go to the place where they fought and take a look? That's where the Golden Core battle took place, leaving behind traces. I heard that the battlefield isn't far from the Fang market, and many people went there this morning." The Zhang surnamed cultivator nodded and said, "All right, I was thinking the same thing. Perhaps if we're lucky, we might find some remaining treasures." The man appeared somewhat excited. "Don't get your hopes up. Even if there are any being this late, it won't be our turn." The Zhang surnamed cultivator was quite calm. After speaking, the two men quickened their pace and headed forward. After listening, Lin Jing pondered for a while. He decided not to go to Ubala, but to head directly to that place to have a look and search for the soil he had left behind. As soon as he thought of it, he did it. Then, Lin Jing made his way out of the outer Fang market. Upon leaving the Fang market, Lin Jing rose on his flying sword and flew towards the night mist mountain range. On this journey, he occasionally encountered groups of cultivators flying past on their swords. And since their direction was similar to Lin Jing's, it seemed the news of the Golden Core battle had already spread. These people were probably also heading to the battlefield to observe the aftermath of the Golden Core cultivators' fight. Or perhaps to see if there was an opportunity to scavenge any leftovers. The flying sword Lin Jing was using this time was the medium-grade magic artifact he had recently purchased. The characteristics of the flawless sword were too conspicuous, not suitable for exposure to others. But this medium-grade flying sword was different. It was very ordinary and wouldn't attract attention. After not much time, Lin Jing arrived at the battlefield. He surveyed the scene, a complete mess. The dense jungle that was there just yesterday was now nothing but a bare clearing. On the ground, the few standing trees that were left were broken, their splintered remains mixed with stones, scattered everywhere. It looked extremely disordered. At that moment, on the chaotic ground, some were rummaging among the broken stones and wood chips, apparently searching for something. Others were even using their divine sense, which puzzled Lin Jing even more. There didn't seem to be anything worth searching for here. Lin Jing knew that there weren't any rare spirit plants in the area, and even with an intense battle, it was unlikely any rare items like fragments of magical treasures would be left behind. Then, shaking his head and sighing, Lin Jing stopped paying attention to those people. Instead, he scanned the area from the sky, trying to recognize the spot where he was the day before. After identifying it approximately, based on some distant scenery, Lin Jing confirmed his position from the previous day. Then, he came to a spot full of ruins on the ground and landed, retracting his flying sword. This place should be where he had previously entered the system space. Lin Jing could be sure that even if there was some discrepancy, it wasn't significant. The ground here was ravaged, as if it had been turned over by someone. Furthermore, just now there were two cultivators on the ground discussing what they were searching for. From their conversation, Lin Jing learned that this was the very spot where the final decisive battle had taken place. It was here in the market that the golden core cultivators had slain the demon cultivator. Initially, Lin Jing had felt this place was not safe, so he had taken the opportunity to flee. Now, it seemed his decision was indeed justified. Next, Lin Jing, like the others, started to search the ground. However, what he was looking for was the black soil that had clung to the roots and stem of the blood-red vermilion fruit, which was harder to find than what others were seeking. After searching for over half an hour, Lin Jing still hadn't found any trace of the black soil. It figured, after all, there was only a small amount of that black soil initially, and after the Golden Core Cultivators battle, the ground had probably been completely overturned. If it were so easy to find, that would be the real surprise. Fortunately, the soil here was a yellowish-brown, starkly different from the black soil, making it somewhat easier to distinguish. Otherwise, Lin Jing would have probably left long ago. Lin Jing continued searching like this. As he flipped a piece of broken stone, suddenly, Lin Jing saw a black granule stuck on a piece of broken wood beneath it. He quickly picked up the piece of broken wood and then took the black granule off. Next, Lin Jing pinched it between his fingers, and that texture was indeed undoubtedly that of soil. I never expected to actually find it myself. Lin Jing's heart instantly swelled with joy. However, just at that moment, a crisp and familiar voice came from behind Lin Jing. Lin Jing. There was a hint of uncertainty in that voice. Upon hearing the voice, Lin Jing turned around, and to his surprise, he saw Huang Qingling standing there with a lively expression. Behind Huang Qingling stood Li Tongyu and Li Qingqing. Seeing Lin Jing turn around, Huang Qingling immediately smiled happily. "It really is you. I thought I was seeing things. Who would have thought?" Without a word, "You also came treasure hunting." In theory, at this time, Lin Jing was supposed to be in his courtyard, engaged in alchemy. But he had come out, and now he had been caught red-handed by Huang Qingling. At the moment, Lin Jing was holding a piece of broken wood, which made the situation somewhat awkward. Fortunately, Lin Jing responded quickly, releasing his hold and letting the wood fall to the ground, hastily replying, "Yes. After a failed alchemy attempt last night, I felt somewhat downcast, so I went out today for a stroll and heard news of a Golden Core battle, so I thought I'd come and have a look. After arriving here, seeing many people treasure hunting, I was taken by the moment and started searching as well. Fellow Taoist Qingling, brother Li, Qingqing, what brings you here to?" At that point, Li Tongyu approached Lin Jing and said, "To be honest, Lin brother, like you, they were impulsive to come treasure hunting, and I didn't have any pressing matters, so I joined them. If I'd known you were also interested, I would have asked you to join us," Huang Qingling said. "It's the same now," Lin Jing said with a smile. Then, Lin Jing asked Li Tongyu, "Brother Li, why are there so many people here looking for treasure? Is there really something valuable? The battle from yesterday had already ended, and Elder Master Li had probably already returned to the Li family. Therefore, Lin Jing thought to ask Li Tongyu to see if anything had been left behind after the great battle of yesterday. Li Tongyu replied with a smile. So Lin, brother, you didn't know what was going on either. Yeah, I was just out for a stroll today when I heard about the battle and got curious. So I followed over, Lin Jing replied. To tell the truth, there really is, Li Tongyu began. Oh, please, I'd like to hear more about it. Lin Jing was now also showing interest. After that, Li Tongyu continued. It's just that yesterday, during their fight, a rootstock of the blood-red Zhu fruit dropped here on the battlefield. Blood-red Zhu fruit rootstock. Lin Jing appeared astonished. Yes, the blood-red Zhu fruit rootstock. Li Tongyu nodded. We also found out from grandfather that a rootstock of the blood-red Zhu fruit was lost on the battlefield. And that's why we thought to come here and look. Li Qingqing spoke up at this moment. I see. Lin Jing nodded slightly. Then, Li Tongyu continued. Because the fight yesterday was too intense, they could not afford to be distracted to search for it. In the end, that battle almost turned the entire area upside down. And those golden core immortals from the Fong market managed to claim a narrow victory, hurrying back to heal their wounds and temporarily put this matter out of their minds. However, looking at the situation, somehow, this information was leaked. You see, most of these people are here to find the roots and rhizomes of the blood-red vermilion fruit. Li Tongyu pointed to the cultivators not far away who were clearing up the stones and wood chips on the ground. Of course, there are also some others who, I bet, are just like Brother Lin, knowing nothing and just joining in the excitement. Lin Jing looked at Li Tongyu with concern and asked, Your grandfather is injured. How is he? Is the injury severe? Li Tongyu replied, Thanks for your concern, Brother Lin. My grandfather is okay. His injuries aren't that serious. But it seems like others aren't so optimistic, especially Elder Zhang Yuan's ancestor from his family, and that uncle of his who had just advanced to Golden Core recently. I heard that both of them are gravely injured. Also because of this incident, when we went to find Zhang Yuan, the Zhang family was so busy that he wasn't in the mood to join us in treasure hunting, which is why we came here. I see. I hope everything is fine with their family, Lin Jing sighed. Yes, if there weren't Golden Core immortals to support, I'm afraid that the entire Zhang family would fall into danger. Li Tongyu sighed as well. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, Lin Jing spoke up and looked at Li Tongyu. By the way, Brother Li, I also heard from others that the demonic beast came from the demon race secret realm. Is that so? Previously, Lin Jing had only speculated and wasn't certain whether the demonic beast had indeed come from the demon race secret realm. And now is a good time to ask Li Tongyu, freewebnovel.com. After all, Li Tongyu's grandfather was personally involved. Li Tongyu then said, Indeed, that demon cultivator was discovered while exploring the demon race secret realm. However, my grandfather didn't tell me the specifics. So I don't know much either. I see, Lin Jing nodded. Since that demon race secret realm is so dangerous, have your grandfather and the other Golden Core immortals sealed it up again? Li Tongyu nodded and said, Yes. To prevent similar incidents from happening again, my grandfather and the others have resealed the entrance. And they have already notified the Qingyuan sword sect and plan to hand over the remaining matters to them to handle. Having said that, Li Tongyu then let out a sigh. Alas, let's not talk about those matters anymore. They're not something we can get involved in. We should still focus on finding the roots and rhizomes of the blood-red vermilion fruit. Although the value of the rhizome is not as high as the complete blood-red vermilion fruit, as a third-tier spirit plant, it is not low in value. If the conditions are suitable and it can be cultivated, then the value of the blood-red vermilion fruit rhizome could be much higher than the fruit itself. Huang Qingling and Li Qingqing also nodded in agreement. Exactly. It's more important to look for the rhizome of the blood-red vermilion fruit. Afterwards, the group also began to dig through the soil. During this time, Lin Jing was also earnestly searching for those patches of black soil, but perhaps his luck had run out, for he could not find any more. until the sunset slanted west and it was nearing evening. When most of the searching cultivators had left, the group discussed it and then left on their flying swords. Even as they were leaving, Li Jing was still complaining. I wonder which lucky sod picked up the rhizome of the blood-red vermilion fruit. Seeing his sister unhappy, Li Tongyu quickly spoke up to comfort her. That blood-red vermilion fruit rhizome might have been destroyed by the aftereffects of the battle too. What comes to me is my fortune. What eludes me is my fate. Don't think too much about it. All right, Li Jing pouted. Meanwhile, Lin Jing, who had already obtained the root and stem of the blood-red vermilion fruit, was bowing his head, remaining silent. No one can be told about this. After returning to the small courtyard, anxious to proceed, Lin Jing immediately took the bit of black soil from the secret realm into the system space. Arriving at the spirit field, Lin Jing dug a hole in the soil covering the blood-red vermilion fruit and then placed the small pellet of black soil into it, burying it alongside the blood-red vermilion fruit. No sooner had the black soil been added, the system notification reached Lin Jing's ears. System notification: foreign special secret realm soil components detected in the spirit field. Analysis in progress. Note: if the analysis is successful, the simulation of that secret realm environment can be activated. Hearing the system notification, Lin Jing instantly felt a surge of excitement. Could it be that this is going to work? However, before Lin Jing could revel in his excitement for too long, the system notification sounded again. System notification: the soil sample is too small. Analysis failed, unable to activate the secret realm environment simulation. This system notification instantly calmed Lin Jing's initially restless heart. For a long moment, Lin Jing looked at the blood-red vermilion fruit tree he had planted in the spirit field not long ago and helplessly shook his head. Then, adjusting his mood, Lin Jing left the spirit field. It seems, if I want it to grow in the future, I'll have to personally visit the secret realm and gather more soil samples. For now, I should focus on alchemy, Lin Jing thought to himself. Time flies inexorably, passing quickly when we least expect it. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. A lot had happened during these 3 months. Firstly, there was the aftermath of the demon race secret realm. After that demon cultivator was killed, the golden core cultivators in Fong Market had all paid a hefty price, because Elder Master Li had the lightest injuries. So, aside from Elder Master Li, the others were all healing their wounds and could hardly be seen in Fong Market anymore. Even the new steward of Yubela, Zheng, was no exception. After the battle that day, he delegated his responsibilities to Steward Cheng and then went into seclusion to heal his injuries. He has not emerged since. Additionally, the Zhang family was struck by a piece of tragic news that spread. That was the untimely demise of the Zhang family's newly promoted Golden Core, the uncle of Zhang Yuan, due to severe injuries he had suffered. Recently, Lin Jing and Huang Qingling, representing Elder Bai, accompanied Li Tongyu to visit the Zhang family to offer condolences and to see how Zhang Yuan was doing. However, Zhang Yuan seemed to be in noticeably poor spirits during this time, though thankfully, he appeared to be without serious issues. The group could only offer some words of comfort before they departed. Ever since Fong Market informed Qingyuan Sword Sect about the demon race secret realm, Qingyuan Sword Sect immediately sent people to investigate the realm. After the investigation, Qingyuan Sword Sect went even further by stationing people at the entrance of the secret realm, forbidding anyone from approaching. This vigil by Qingyuan Sword Sect lasted 3 months. But soon, there was an unexpected development in this matter. In the beginning, no one found it unusual. But as more time passed, and Qingyuan Sword Sect continued to guard the entrance to the demon race secret realm without withdrawing, and with no news coming from the secret realm during that time, people gradually began to grow suspicious. After all, even with thorough exploration, that secret realm couldn't possibly require as much as 3 months. So, as time grew longer, the matter slowly began to ferment, and various rumors started to emerge within the Fong Market. There were rumors saying the Qingyuan sword sect obtained a good number of rare spirit plants and a great amount of treasures in that secret realm. The reason they've been sealing the entrance and blocking others from approaching is to keep their findings concealed. Many people believe this rumor to be true. With time, as the rumor fermented, it became increasingly intense, showing a trend that seemed almost uncontrollable. Moreover, apart from Nanshan Market, the news spread like it had wings, reaching the nearby cities and other markets. A portion of the powers were completely convinced and believed the Qingyuan sword sect had gained advantages in the demon race secret realm. Therefore, they brought people to Nanshan Market, seeking an opportunity to share a piece of the pie. Fueled by these individuals, other families and sects grew restless. Consequently, more and more families and sects streamed toward Nanshan Market. This small market naturally could not bear such a large influx of people, and hence, the population of the market increased, making the streets crowded during the daytime. Of course, this also brought other effects, which was another rise in market prices. It is said, Lin Jing even heard that the rent for the small courtyard he had in the outer market had surged to 20 lower-grade spirit stones a year. Now, the cost of living in a market had risen considerably too. Nevertheless, no one wanted to leave the market. And the families and sects that had recently come to the market were all eyeing the entrance to the secret realm, trying to get close from time to time, eager to see if it was as rumored, filled with treasures. However, under the strict guard of Qingyuan sword sect, these people didn't stand a chance. The actions of the Qingyuan sword sect only reaffirmed people's suspicions. Being not powerful enough themselves, they dared not openly oppose Qingyuan sword sect. Thus, they could only fret helplessly without any solution. But this situation surely couldn't continue indefinitely. So, as time slowly passed and the market grew more crowded, people became increasingly anxious, fearing that Qingyuan sword sect would monopolize the treasures of the secret realm. Eventually, someone couldn't bear it anymore. Embracing a do-or-die mentality, they widely publicized the matter of the demon race secret realm. Most importantly, this matter was directly communicated to Nanming Immortal Sect and Yiyun Pavilion, whose strengths were comparable to that of Qingyuan sword sect. The result was Nanming Immortal Sect and Yiyun Pavilion both dispatched representatives to Qingyuan sword sect, claiming they wanted to negotiate with Qingyuan sword sect regarding the demon race secret realm. They sought to have the entrance to the secret realm open for all to enter. This matter, naturally, was good news for the other families and sects. And these two major sects also earned the unanimous favor of those families and sects. With the situation at this stage, everyone in the market was looking forward with great anticipation, waiting for the outcome of the negotiations. And because of this, the rumors and gossip within the market diminished significantly. Because everyone was looking forward to the end of the negotiations, eager to head to the demon race secret realm to hunt for treasures. Of course, these matters had no influence on Lin Jing. Lin Jing still spent his days practicing alchemy and cultivation, occasionally gathering with Li Tongyu and the others. Once the elixirs Lin Jing refined reached a certain quantity, Lin Jing would disguise himself, adopt the identity of the elixir Valley heir, and head to the black market to sell some of his pure elixirs. As the population within the Fang market grew, his reputation as the Elixir Valley heir grew louder and louder over time. Though he didn't sell many elixirs, his fame skyrocketed, selling only pure elixirs. The spirit stones he earned were substantial. In addition, Lin Jing also converted other surplus elixirs, adopting different identities, and sold them in the Fang market and the black market. During this period, the Fang market had become overly crowded with people. Some clans and sects, finding the Fang market too congested, even found uninhabited hills nearby to establish temporary residences. It was precisely because there were so many newcomers to the Fang market that no one noticed when Lin Jing sold a large number of elixirs. And each time, he only sold a small portion. After each sale, he would switch identities, choose a different trading house, and continue to sell. In this manner, Lin Jing sold all the elixirs he had accumulated over the past few months. The spirit stones earned from these elixirs were almost on par with those he gained from selling the pure elixirs. Combining the spirit stones obtained from selling elixirs with what he previously had on him, the count of medium-grade spirit stones he now possessed had exceeded 10,000. This was the first time Lin Jing had so many spirit stones. However, Lin Jing wasn't excited. Though these spirit stones seemed plentiful, in the eyes of those large families, they were actually not that much. Especially if he stumbled upon a third-rank spirit plant he needed. One plant could all but deplete his entire fortune. If Lin Jing wanted to make money, he feared he would need to find a way to obtain third-rank spirit plants and refine third-rank elixirs. The value of third-rank elixirs was likely at least a few hundred times that of second-rank ones, because third-rank spirit plants were exceedingly rare. That day, Lin Jing sat cross-legged in the system space, preparing to break through to the second layer of foundation establishment. Originally, Lin Jing could have attempted the breakthrough over a month ago. However, during a drunken conversation with Li Tongyu mentioned the importance of foundation establishment and spent the whole night in a deep conversation with Lin Jing. It was after this lengthy talk that Lin Jing decided to delay his progression, suppress his cultivation, and solidify his foundation. Moreover, Lin Jing learned from Li Tongyu that the firmer the foundation, the longer one's path of cultivation would be. Previously at the Qingyuan sword sect, Lin Jing was only in the qi refinement realm and knew very little. Then, upon arriving at the Fong market, he was alone and nobody there told him these things. Finally, after meeting Elder Yu, who treated him well and taught him much, Lin Jing had always been concealing his true cultivation level, revealing it to be only at the 7th level of qi refinement. Elder Yu thus never talked to him about matters beyond foundation establishment. Fortunately, Lin Jing met Li Tongyu, the drunken chatterbox. Otherwise, he might have hastily advanced a long time ago. Next, Lin Jing took out a pure jade box from his storage bag, inside of which was a pure gathering yuan pill. Now, the elixirs Lin Jing consumed were all pure elixirs. He had never taken any other elixirs, including supreme elixirs. If others knew about this, they would likely be more than just envious. They might even desire to devour his heart.